First up, we have a presentation from Kincora Copper Limited. Kincora's ASX code is KCC. The company has a market cap of approximately 17 million. Kincora is an active explorer and project generator focused on world-class, gold-rich copper discoveries with an industry-leading technical team, strong shareholder register, and is dual-listed on the ASX and TSX. Kincora's portfolio includes district-scale land holdings and scalable, drill-ready targets in both Australia and Mongolia's leading copper-gold belts. Presenting today is Executive Director, President and CEO, Sam Spring. Sam, welcome, and please take it away.
Fantastic. Thanks, Manning, for the opportunity. I guess it's a good opportunity to provide an overview on what we feel is a pretty exciting period for the company coming up. So if we could click through to the next slide, please, the usual disclaimers. So why Kincora? We're an explorer. We're at the risk capital stage. We're at that point where a discovery creates multiple, not a percentage return, and creates the greatest value upside in the mining resource sector. At this stage, obviously, team's critical. You're backing exploration concepts and targets. And in our case, we've got a tier one discovery team that have been there and done this before with a demonstrated track record, looking for similar projects to what we've got in the portfolio. We're focused on copper systems, what we think is the most important metal for the global effort to decarbonise, and the scarcity and favourable outlook for that metal really illustrated by BHP's recent effort and attempt to secure Anglo-American. Our projects are large. They've got large-scale potential. There's an existing resource on a mining licence that provides direct, exposure to the existing copper price. These assets are all in established world-class mining belts. They all are benefiting from coming with gold credits. So when you look at the current copper price and gold price environment, that's an extremely attractive portfolio to be in, and I guess particularly with the outlook for copper. In terms of value catalysts, we think this is a really opportune time to introduce the story to the marketplace. After a period of pretty limited news flow, we've set the foundations for a number of catalysts that are just starting to come out. So coupled with increasing interest and liquidity in the copper sector, I think this is a pretty great opportunity for us to explain what to look out for and why. So if we can move on to the next slide, please. Team, as mentioned, team's absolutely critical. The board here is very strong. We're shareholders. About 45% of the register is represented on the board, so there's alignment both in terms of ownership and REM structures. John Holliday is probably the foremost expert with porphyries in New South Wales. Peter Lehman's been involved with a number of big discoveries himself, and at his election hasn't taken a cash salary since he's been with us, being remunerated in shares. So there's skin in the game, there's experience, and there's a demonstrated track record. So on to the next slide, please. So as mentioned, we've got proven portfolios in large-scale settings. Here, this slide does a good job illustrating on a global basis gold-rich copper belts, and I think Sunstone will talk to this as well. You can see Ecuador very favourably standing out on this region, but our focus is Southern Gobi and the Lachlan Fold Belt in New South Wales. These are established world-class mining districts, and I guess that's what we're looking for, copper porphyries that supply about 70% of the world's copper and are the favoured mineral system of the majors. So on to the next slide, please. So why have we got this slide? It's showing, regional activity is very much driving our strategy. As a junior, you've got to adapt as the market it changes, and we're certainly looking to do so. We want to highlight that within New South Wales, which is probably the most active place in Australia at the moment for copper and gold activity and exploration, you are seeing significant investment, whether that's North Parkes, Cadia being acquired, or significant earn-in and JV deals. There's been 4 in the last 12 months that support over $200 million worth of exploration expenditure. There's plenty of activity, and that is informing and driving our strategy. Within New South Wales, you've seen juniors do deals, and the average return for those are about 2 to 4x. In Mongolia, you're seeing that return being more 3 to 5x. Again, the strategic appeal for these sort of projects is very much demonstrated by our peer groups. Within the Cobar Super Basin, there's been recent exploration successes that are generating significant reward. Australian Gold and Copper AGC is a great example of that, that's gone from a less than 10 million market cap to over 100 in the last month. So this is important because it's driving our strategy and what we think is the strategic appeal of our portfolio. I might also flag that on our website and on the ASX in the last week, there's been a detailed corporate presentation that has a lot of peer group valuations that I'd suggest people refer to. So on to the next slide. Thank you. So this is our portfolio in red in central west New South Wales. The grey region's the Cobar Super Basin and our Condobolin project. We've had some very strong results in the last 12 months that warrant following up. Out to the east, to the right in green, is the Macquarie Arc, Australia's foremost porphyry belt. We've got a true district scale portfolio there within that belt. So on to the next slide. This is our portfolio, 7 projects. How do you add value to a portfolio this big? As a junior, generally you only get rewarded for your flagship or top 2 projects. What we're trying to do is systematically advance all these projects. 5 of these are but majors. The strategic appeal is pretty obvious there. If we move on to the next slide, I'll outline what we're looking to do. So on the left-hand side is earlier stage, more conceptual, higher risk projects. Out to the right is our more advanced flagship projects that all sit in brownfield settings. Trundle is part of the North Park system, we believe. Fairholme is part of Cow, which is Evolution Mining's flagship project. They're our flagships. What we're looking to do at this point in the cycle is, having secured 100% of these projects, is bringing in asset level partners to our earlier stage projects that sit on the left-hand side. In the last month, you've seen us do a $50 million earn-in with Anglo Gold Ashanti for our Northern Junee Narromine Belt project. In the last month, you've seen Earth AI, an exploration alliance partner of ours, undertake drilling at our Condobolin project. There are 9 targets that sit within those 2 projects that are being advanced. We've got over 30 targets within this portfolio. So we're looking to do deals, generate value, which demonstrate our credibility in terms of the technical merits of these projects by attracting really strong partners and advancing that portfolio. So on to the next slide, please. As mentioned, in the northern part of the belt, we've done a deal with Anglo Gold Ashanti, an earn-in deal. What we in Anglo are looking for is a new district. We think this northern part of the belt has the potential to be the biggest part of the Macquarie Arc. It sits under post-mineral cover. And down to the south, we see over 160 million ounces of gold equivalent resource inventory and a number of world-class mines. Anglo Gold's already done a deal with a neighbour of ours, Inflection Resources, which is a 17-18 million Canadian market cap company listed on the CSE. They've spent over $6 million with Inflection in a very short period of time, currently drilling at Duck Creek and also to the west of our licence. We're expecting to get on the ground there and shortly undertake a maiden drilling program with Anglo Gold funding that. I should mention that Inflection only in the last week has commenced the largest ever ANT survey, looking to help refine targets within the district here. So there's plenty going on. So I guess watch this space. On to the next slide. Condobolin, as mentioned, we've got an exploration alliance with an AI group, Earth AI. They've identified a number of new targets. One of those relates to a 2.2 kilometre copper anomaly, which we think is being driven by hydrothermal breccia. Why is that important? Well, you have a look at the hydrothermal breccia just to the north in the same belt of rocks at Boda and Kaiser. That underpins a 14 million ounce gold equivalent resource, and generally the hydrothermal breccia is associated with high grade. So an interesting target, one that's being funded and one that's been identified by Earth AI. For them, they only get something out of this. We retain 100% of the project, but they get an NSR if they make a new discovery, a qualifying interval. So an interesting way to advance this project with a good partner. So on to the next slide, please. Mongolia, we've got over 400,000 tonnes of copper and 400,000 ounces of gold in an existing resource sitting on a mining license, what we think is the fourth major district in this rapidly emerging region, the Southern Gobi in Mongolia. Oyu Tolgoi is on track to be the fourth biggest copper mine in the world by 2030. Seven Savaga, 40 kilometres away from us, is in construction. Xanadu's Karmatai project's at an FID decision point. So we're concluding a strategic review at the moment for our Mongolian portfolio, looking at how do we advance and monetize this and bring the best benefit and value to our shareholders. So on to the next slide, please. As mentioned, there's a bit in the portfolio and as we've run through today. So about a 14 million market cap, 1.1 million in the bank, looking at recycling capital from the Mongolian portfolio to support activities in New South Wales. The board is representing about 45% of the register, top 10 about 60%. So significant skin in the game. And very quickly on the next and last slide. Just quickly, as mentioned, the last 6 months we've had a lack of news flow as we've created the foundations for the various milestones and catalysts that we're working on. So I'd encourage you to look at the more detailed website presentation up on the website. My contact details are in here. Please shout out. But I think we're entering a pretty exciting time for the company with a lot of the foundations in place, just starting to generate results.
Okay, Sam, thank you for that. A fascinating story. I've got a couple of questions that have come in whilst you were giving the presentation. The first one is around infrastructure. Could you comment on what infrastructure, if any, is already in place for processing or transporting the ore for both your New South Wales and your Southern Gobi projects?
Yeah, we're very fortunate in New South Wales that it's an established mining district. You've got excellent infrastructure there, whether it's rail, existing mills. Our more advanced projects, which Fairholme and Trundle, they're respectively, we think, part of the same system as Cal and North Park's world-class existing mines. And if you find what you're looking for, the exit strategy is pretty obvious and pretty natural there. So I guess in New South Wales, we're benefiting from that existing mining culture and operations and infrastructure. The Southern Gobi, it's rapidly emerging. You've got a number of big projects being built in what is one of the most sparsely populated parts of the world. You're within trucking distance to China. So from an ability to build a project, you're extremely favourably positioned as Oyu Tolgoi is really demonstrating. So I think the infrastructure situation is very different. You haven't got all that established infrastructure, but as been proven by OT, that's certainly the lack of population and the infrastructure being, or the position being on the doorstep of China certainly helps projects being developed quite quickly and capital efficiently.
Okay, understood. The next question is around the AI partnership. The question is, could you talk just a little bit more about what the AI actually does and how it works?
Yeah, AI means different things to different people. What we've been very interested with is Earth AI's proprietary process. They basically identified this project as looking very interesting from a, I guess, belt perspective. They came in, did that work, then identified a number of anomalies. This area where they've identified this 2.2K geochem anomaly is an area that hadn't been explored. So they basically identified that from the AI, walked out, tested the ground, identified these anomalies, took samples, generated the geochem footprint. Now they're going in and drilling for the first time. So it's not just AI by itself. It's AI helping the geologists go out in the field, know what they're looking for, identify what is a very important marker at Boda Kaiser to the north, and putting a few holes in for the first time. So it's a pretty interesting process.
Okay, thank you. And one last question before you go. With regards to Mongolia, you've obviously got a pretty decent resource there now. The question is around how do you see that opportunity and that development progressing from here? How does it look?
Yeah, it's a really good question. It's great to have an existing resource on a mining license. There's a relatively modest capital program we've got proposed that we think could add a lot of value to that portfolio, but we've got 2 district scale positions. It's hard, particularly given the different risk profiles and different jurisdictional profiles, to do both justice. So what we're doing is this strategic review, looking at how do we maximise the value of that asset to Kincora shareholders. We're nearing the end of that process, and I'd like to think that in a pretty short period of time, you'll be able to see what we think is a pretty neat solution to be able to create value for Kincora shareholders from that asset, and putting it into a set of good hands to really drive that project forward.
Okay, Sam, thank you for your time today. That was great, and have a fabulous weekend. We'll see you soon.
Fantastic. Thanks.